Hi everyone. Today we're going deep into one of Neville Goddard's most life-changing teachings, the idea that your inner conversations are creating your outer reality. In this video, you'll understand why the thoughts you repeat, the imaginary dialogues you rehearse, and the tone you speak to yourself with are literally shaping your relationships, your opportunities, your confidence, and even your future. You'll see how these internal conversations run automatically, how they keep you repeating cycles without realizing it, and most importantly, how you can change your inner talk to change your life. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you love teachings about consciousness, manifestation, Neville Goddard, and the deeper mechanics of how reality responds to your inner state, this channel will help you transform your life from the inside out. Every new video builds on these teachings, so subscribing truly accelerates your growth. And if you want to go even deeper into Neville's work, I highly recommend starting with these two books, Feeling is the Secret and The Power of Imagination. I'll leave both links in the pinned comment, so you can access them easily. Now, let's begin. Your life is reflecting the conversations you don't even notice. Your entire life, every pattern, every cycle, every "why does this keep happening to me" moment is shaped by something most people never pay attention to, the conversations happening inside their own mind. Neville Goddard said one of the most powerful truths ever spoken. It is not what you want that manifests. It is what you are inwardly saying. And in this first block, we reveal exactly what that means and why it explains so much of the reality you're living today. Because most people believe they are fighting something outside of them. They think their problem is the lack of opportunity, the difficult partner, the financial struggle, the rejection they keep experiencing, the uncertainty about the future. But according to Neville, none of these are the true cause. The real cause is the endless stream of inner conversations running beneath conscious awareness, the invisible voice, the repetitive mental dialogues, the fears, the imaginary arguments, the scenes you rehearse, the outcomes you expect, and the emotional tones you return to again and again. People think they are dealing with circumstances, but they are actually dealing with internal narratives that never stop speaking. Let's break this open. You wish one thing, but your inner conversations are saying something completely different. This is why Neville said, your inner talking, not your outer action, determines your fate. You may wish for a loving relationship, but your inner conversation might whisper, "People always leave me. I'm never chosen. I'm never enough." You may want financial freedom, but internally you keep repeating, "It's too hard. I always struggle. Things never work out for me." You may desire confidence, but your inner voice says, "I'm not good enough. I'll mess this up. They probably don't like me." And here's the key. Your outer world can only reflect the conversation that dominates within, not the desire, not the hope, not the affirmation you say once a day, but the ongoing inner dialogue happening moment by moment. Most people live in invisible internal conflicts. Neville taught that the mind is constantly engaged in silent conversations. They happen automatically. Most people don't even realize they're doing it. Examples of these unconscious inner conversations include criticism, replaying disapproval you imagine others have, fear, predicting negative outcomes before they happen, imaginary rejection, rehearsing scenes where you are ignored or unloved, defensiveness, arguing in your head with someone who isn't there, self-doubt, narrating why things won't work, worry, mentally preparing for loss or disappointment. You don't need to say these things out loud. You don't even need to consciously choose them. They run on autopilot, and they form what Neville called a state of consciousness, and vibrational atmosphere inside you that the outer world must eventually mirror. Your inner conversations are scripts, and life keeps acting them out. For example, a person who constantly imagines being rejected ends up noticing rejection everywhere. A person who mentally rehearses losing opportunities finds themselves losing them in real life. A person who quietly expects disappointment keeps walking into situations that confirm it. It's not destiny, it's not bad luck. It's not that this always happens to me. It's the unconscious conversations the person has been having within themselves for years, sometimes since childhood. The outer world is just a photograph of your inner conversations. Neville used a beautiful metaphor. The external world is a photograph. Your inner conversations are the negative. The picture you see outside, your relationships, your finances, your self-worth, your emotional experiences, is simply the printed version of whatever was impressed on the internal film of your consciousness. The problem is, most people keep trying to change the photograph instead of changing the negative. They try to solve issues externally by fixing people, forcing outcomes, controlling circumstances, endlessly reacting, trying to work harder, chasing validation. But none of this transforms the source, because your life is not built from the outside in, it is built from the inside out. You can switch partners, switch jobs, switch cities, switch goals, but if your inner conversation remains unchanged, the pattern will repeat in the new environment just like it did in the old. This is why Neville insisted, change your inner conversation and you change your world. You are not listening to the world is listening to you. This is the core revelation. Most people walk through life believing their mind is responding to reality, but according to Neville, it's the opposite. Reality is responding to your mind. Life is echoing the internal dialogue you return to most often. So if you want to change your reality, relationships, opportunities, financial flow, emotional experiences, you must first become aware of what you repeatedly say to yourself, what mental scenes you replay, what stories you tell internally, what emotional conclusions you assume, what tone of voice dominates your inner world, because that is what is shaping your destiny. Not your wishes, not your prayers, not your efforts, but the internal conversation you don't even realize you're having. 2. The hidden inner conversations running your relationships, money, and identity. If Block 1 revealed that your life is shaped by inner conversations you barely notice, Block 2 exposes the truth most people never realize. These silent inner dialogues are influencing your relationships, your finances, your confidence, everything. People think they are simply reacting to life, but as Neville taught, they are actually preparing life with the conversations they speak within. He said, "Nothing appears without being first spoken within." So let's go into the real, everyday examples, the ones people feel in their chest, their relationships, their bank account, and their self-worth. Inner conversations in love, rejection, insecurity, fear of not being enough. Most people don't realize they're having silent conversations about rejection long before anything happens externally. A person may want love, but internally they whisper, "They're going to lose interest. I'm probably not their priority. They'll leave like everyone else. I'm too much, or maybe not enough. What if they find someone better?" And here's the painful truth Neville helps us see. These inner conversations shape how you show up, how you text, how you look at them, how open or closed your body feels. Instead of entering the relationship from the state of, "I am loved," they enter the relationship from the state of, "I am replaceable." So even when the relationship is healthy, the inner dialogue rehearses loss. They imagine arguments. They imagine abandonment. They imagine the moment everything falls apart. Neville would say, they are speaking separation within, so separation eventually appears without. This is not punishment. It's simply the law. Whatever inner state you talk from becomes the outer experience you live. Inner conversations about money, lack, fear, incapability. Money is another area where inner conversations secretly run everything. A person might want abundance, but their inner conversation is full of lack, fear, incapability. Before they even check their bank account, before they even try anything new, before life has the chance to respond, they have already rehearsed lack internally. They have already spoken, there is no way inside their own mind. Neville said, "You do not attract what you want. You attract what you consent to in thought." When a person keeps consenting to thoughts of struggle, fear, or unworthiness, their outer financial reality simply organizes itself around those conversations. Bills feel heavier. Opportunities seem rare. Ideas feel impossible. Risk feels dangerous, not because they are inherently difficult, but because the inner dialogue has already created a state of, "I can't." Inner conversations about self-confidence, self-criticism, and comparison. Confidence is actually built in the moments when you speak to others. It is built in the moments when you speak to yourself. Most people carry constant inner dialogues of, "You're messing this up. They're better than you. Who do you think you are? You don't belong here. People think you're weird. You always fail." Even during success, their inner conversation undermines them. Even during praise, their inner conversation denies it. Even during progress, their inner conversation tells them it's not enough. Neville would say that this person is not lacking confidence. They are occupying the state of inadequacy, and their inner conversation is what keeps them there. The problem isn't the world. It's the story being whispered internally about who they believe they are. The universal mistake, thinking you are reacting to life. This is the illusion most people live inside. They believe, "I'm insecure because this person acts cold. I worry about money because my situation is difficult. I doubt myself because the world is competitive." But Neville flips the whole world upside down. He says, you are not reacting. You are predicting. You are rehearsing. You are feeding the event before it happens. Most people don't realize. Before the partner acts distant, they already imagined it. Before the job opportunity slips away, they already prepared themselves for disappointment. Before the person judges them, they already argued with them internally. Before they fail, they already rehearsed failure in their mind. Inner conversations create emotional momentum, and emotional momentum becomes experience. Neville describes it like this: your inner talking will eventually be made manifest. This is why cycles repeat. This is why patterns return. This is why people feel stuck even when they try hard. They never change their inner conversation, so reality keeps echoing the same internal script. The outer world doesn't start the story, it finishes it. The world is not the author of your life, it is the mirror. Whatever you repeatedly say internally, even quietly, even unknowingly, the world simply reflects it. Rejection outside? It began as an inner conversation of not being worthy. Financial struggle outside? It began as an inner conversation of fear and limitation. Criticism outside? It began as an inner conversation of self-doubt and self-judgment. Life is not speaking first. You are. Neville's words become crystal clear here. Nothing appears without being first spoken within. So the key is not to fight the outer world. The key is to become aware of the inner world you are constantly creating, the one whose voice has been shaping your reality long before you realized it. 3. The emotional loop. How wounded inner conversations repeat the same pain. There is a moment in every transformation journey when a person suddenly realizes something that changes everything. Life is not repeating events. Life is repeating emotions. And those emotions feed the same inner conversations again and again until the person becomes trapped in an emotional loop that feels impossible to escape. This is where Neville's teaching becomes painfully clear. Your repeated inner conversations are not random. They are born from old wounds. Rejection, abandonment, humiliation, criticism, being ignored, being compared, being unseen, being unloved. These wounds created the first inner conversations you ever had, the ones that sounded like, "I'm not enough. No one stays. I always lose. Something is wrong with me. People leave. Good things don't last. This isn't for me." And because the mind memorized these sentences emotionally, they became the soundtrack of adulthood, often without the person realizing it. How a childhood wound becomes an adult inner conversation. Most people think they're repeating bad luck, but what they're actually repeating is a wounded state of consciousness, exactly as Neville describes. A child who felt unwanted develops an inner conversation of, "No one chooses me." An adult who experienced betrayal develops an inner conversation of, "People aren't reliable." Someone who grew up feeling criticized carries an inner conversation of, "I always disappoint." And here's the part that breaks most hearts. These conversations don't stay inside. They become emotional states, and emotional states become patterns. You don't just think, "I'm not enough." You feel it. You embody it. You enter rooms with that emotional vibration. You choose partners who confirm it. You sabotage opportunities because they don't match it. Neville said something that explains this perfectly. You attract the state you occupy, not the people you want, not the success you dream of, not the relationship you visualize, but the state you consistently talk from within. You're not addicted to the person. You're addicted to the emotional state that person represents. This is one of the most powerful and painful truths Neville ever implied. When someone stays stuck in the same patterns, chooses the same type of partner, experiences the same heartbreak, the same financial struggle, the same emotional response, it's not because they are addicted to the person. It's because they are addicted to the emotional state that person activates. A person who lived abandonment feels strangely alive in emotional unpredictability. Chaos feels familiar. Distance feels romantic. Confusion feels intense. A person who fears rejection will unconsciously choose those who cannot offer emotional safety. It confirms the inner story. It matches the inner conversation. A person who deep down believes, "I'm not meant to have more," will sabotage opportunities, not because they truly want to fail, but because failure feels like home. We don't return to what feels good. We return to what feels familiar. And familiar emotions feed familiar inner conversations. The loop. Emotion to inner conversation to reality to emotion. A wound from the past creates a familiar emotional baseline: rejection, abandonment, fear, insecurity. That emotion triggers specific inner conversations. I'm not good enough. This is going to fall apart. I always end up alone. Those conversations generate unconscious behaviors: pulling back, clinging too tightly, sabotaging, overgiving, going silent, accepting less. These behaviors create external experiences that match the inner state. The partner loses interest, the job opportunity disappears, the financial door closes. The external event confirms the original emotion, and the loop begins again. Neville would say, "You are not caught in the world. You are caught in your own state." Until the inner conversation changes, the emotional loop cannot break. Why desire is not enough. This is why people suffer so deeply, because they genuinely want new things: a healthy relationship, a stable income, a loving partner, opportunities, emotional peace. But wanting something new doesn't erase the emotional default. Neville makes it clear: you cannot manifest from the state you are trying to leave. If the inner conversation is still, "No one chooses me, I always get hurt, I don't trust good things, it's safer to expect disappointment," then even the most beautiful desire becomes an impossible dream. And this is why life feels stuck. It's not because the person isn't worthy. It's not because the universe is withholding something. It's not because manifestation isn't working. It's because the state hasn't changed, and the state is maintained by the inner conversation. When inner conversations don't change, life can only repeat. This is the painful truth at the heart of Neville's teaching. You can change your city, change partners, change jobs, change routines, change goals, but if you do not change your inner dialogue, you will recreate the same emotional landscape everywhere you go. New person, same pattern. New opportunity, same fear. New environment, same insecurity. New dream, same doubt. It's not the world. It's the internal narrator you are still listening to. Neville said, "Your world is your inner speech pushed out." So if the speech doesn't change, the world has no choice but to stay the same. This block is emotional because it makes people finally see the cycle was never punishment. The pattern was never destiny. The repetition was never proof of failure. It was simply the mind echoing the same wounded inner conversations that no one ever taught them to change. And once they do, the story, the state, the life, the destiny begin to rewrite themselves. 4. Rewiring your reality, changing your inner conversations to change your life. There comes a moment in Neville's work when everything shifts from understanding to transformation. Because once you see that your life is shaped by the inner conversations you've been repeating for years, a next step becomes unmistakable. You must consciously choose new inner conversations and repeat them until they become your new state of being. And this is where Neville becomes practical. This is where manifestation becomes deliberate. This is where reality begins to respond to a new inner voice. Below are Neville's most powerful methods for rewiring your inner world. 1. Revision. Rewriting the inner conversation of the past. Revision doesn't change the past. Revision changes your relationship with the past. Neville taught that every painful memory carries a dialogue inside it. Words you heard, words you imagined, words you repeated. Things like, "They didn't choose me," "I wasn't good enough," "I failed," "No one wanted me." Revision allows you to replace those old inner conversations with new ones that support the state you want to occupy. You go back to the scene, not to relive it, but to rewrite it. You mentally hear what you wished had been said. You give yourself the words they couldn't give you. You install the conversation that should have happened. And because the subconscious doesn't distinguish between real and imagined experience, the new conversation becomes the one your mind accepts as true. 2. Assumption. Installing the inner conversation of the desired state. Neville's law of assumption is simple. Assume the state you desire and occupy it internally until it becomes natural. You don't wait for someone to tell you you're chosen. You assume you are chosen. You don't wait to be told you're valued. You assume you are valuable. You don't wait for success to appear. You assume you are successful now. And with that assumption comes a new internal voice. I am wanted. I am supported. I am capable. I am worthy of more. My life is unfolding beautifully. You speak from the state you want, not from the state you're trying to escape. 3. Conscious imagination. Hearing the words you would love to receive. Most people imagine unconsciously. They rehearse rejection. They replay arguments. They predict disappointment. Neville teaches the opposite. Use imagination consciously. Hear the words you desire. Let them become familiar. What would your partner say if everything were perfect? What would money say if it flowed easily to you? What would success whisper to you? What would confidence sound like? When you mentally hear the conversations you want, you teach your subconscious a new emotional language. And the subconscious always responds to the most dominant inner dialogue. 4. Substitution. Replacing the old dialogue in real time. This is the most immediate and powerful technique. The moment an old inner conversation appears, the doubt, the fear, the insecurity, the familiar emotional script, you interrupt it and you replace it instantly. This is going to fall apart. My life stabilizes beautifully. People always leave. I am deeply valued and chosen. I'm not enough. I am more than enough. It's not about suppressing thoughts. It's about substituting the narrator. You choose which voice gets amplified. You choose which script gets repeated. You choose which state becomes your home. This is how the emotional loop breaks. This is how the past stops repeating. This is how reality begins to shift. Learning to choose your inner script. Once you start using these techniques, your inner world becomes intentional. You choose the tone, gentle, confident, calm. You choose the words, empowering, loving, secure. You choose the feeling, relief, worthiness, safety, abundance. You choose the script, the life you want to embody. And as you repeat this new inner conversation, something incredible happens. Reality begins to follow, because Neville's final truth is this: you don't change your reality by fighting your reality. You change your reality by changing your inner conversations. And when the inner conversation changes, the world has no choice but to reorganize itself around your new state. Your life doesn't transform because you force it. Your life transforms because you transformed. And if there is one thing I want you to take from this entire video, it's this: your inner conversations are not background noise. They are the blueprint of your reality. Every relationship, every opportunity, every pattern, every moment of your life is responding to the dialogue happening inside you. The words you repeat, the tone you accept, the emotional state you return to. When you change that inner script, your world cannot remain the same. Neville didn't give us a complicated system. He gave us a simple, profound power. Change your inner talking, and you change your life. So today, Choose to speak to yourself as the version of you who is loved, valued, capable, abundant, and supported. Choose the voice of the reality you want to live in, and let that become your new state. If this video helped you today, make sure you subscribe to the channel, not just to follow, but because every week we go deeper into Neville's teachings with clarity, depth, and real transformation. If you want to understand manifestation from the inside out, and if you want to master your inner world, you belong here. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's keep growing together. And don't forget, in the first pinned comment, I've left links to Neville Goddard's essential books, Feeling is the Secret and The Power of Imagination. These 2 books will change the way you understand yourself, your mind, and your reality. Go check them out. They are the perfect next step after this video.